Hello, on-ramps. This is our project for OCTO.
This is the overview of the company. OCTO, the Office of the Chief Technology Officer, is a branch of the DC government focused on the technology-based aspects of DC. OCTO is responsible for developing, producing, and maintaining the applications, technology policies and services, and general technological framework used by the district. In addition, OCTO works in the maintenance of DC's data and helps keep the city run steadily.
Hello, my name is Garrick Thomas. I am 16 years old. This is my first time interning for on-ramps, but specifically also this is my first time as an intern at OCTO. I am a rising senior at Woodrow Wilson Senior High School, and something that I've learned while being at OCTO is I've learned how to spread network connectivity through a building, but also I've learned a little bit more on cybersecurity.
Hello, my name is Andrew Addison. I'm 20 years old and I graduated high school in 2018. I'm a rising senior at the University of the District of Columbia, and this is my third year at Octo. My first year at Octo, I was on site. I was working with Octo's help in person. I got really close with those technicians. My second year, I was working with Connect DC. I did phone calls at home. And this year, I was working with DCNet.
Hi, my name is Wyndham Mills. I'm 15 and I'm a rising sophomore at School Without Walls. This year is my second year interning with Octo. Last summer, I worked with David Travinsky and Lark Tony on the Octo Data team. My main focus was on artwork and digital media, and the projects I worked on that year were usually related to creating color schemes, developing website wireframes and mockups. This year, my experience with Okta was more software oriented. I was on the software quality assurance team, working with Mohammed Shibli and Sririka Shalapali. I learned about software development life cycles, how to create test cases for different applications, how to test applications, and I analyzed different types of test cases.
What projects did we work on this summer? Well, one of the things we worked on this summer was researching terms related to networking. And one of those things we can attribute to networking is MDFs or main data frames, which are usually considered main distribution frames, which are the primary hub for all outbound Ethernet cables to their designated hardware devices. The time you'd probably use this is to provide an internet connection to people in an office, business, or any scaled up setting in the sense that it's a larger company. The reason you need this is because it helps to connect and manage devices and users in a network through helping them talk to one another. Talk in the sense that they're interacting with each other.
Some of the assignments we did at DCNet was coming up with the wiring for a 2,000 feet school. We would discover where to place hubs and routers.
One of the things we learned about also was a certification training site called Tech Telecom Technology Training Institute. And one of the topics on there was about Microsoft Word. When I explored Microsoft Word and the certifications that were behind it, I learned a lot more about Microsoft Word than what I'd already known. Mainly, I understood that I could use Microsoft Word as a resume assistant. I could also use it as a way to excel my knowledge on things such as bibliographies and citations.
Another certification on the Telecom Technology Training Institute was a computer literacy training course. It it gave us a much needed refresher on all the terms related to information technology, and even as a college student myself, it was very refreshing.
The first thing that I learned about was what software development life cycles were, or SDLCs. I made a presentation detailing the different steps of an SDLC and its methodology. Put simply, the first phase of an SDLC is a list of requirements and necessities a certain software will need to properly function and carry out its tasks. Then, those requirements are used to design, code, and construct the software. The software is then brought to an SQA team, similar to the one I worked on with Octo. The SQA team is responsible for testing the software and making sure any defects are solved before the software is produced to the public. Finally, the software is cleared and produced, used by the public, and any requests made by the public become the requirements to renew the software, ultimately restarting the SDLC. I spent the majority of my internship this year learning about how to create test cases. Test cases are used to take note of the expected results when completing certain tests within an application. I was able to develop and modify a test case related to the DC pediatric vaccination system, which consisted of the steps public users would have to execute and their expected results in order to register for a vaccine appointment. I was also able to test applications and look for defects in applications in production, two other tasks of SQA.
One of the strongest challenges that I had was the time. As a college student, most of my courses were in the afternoon, and I wasn't very used to waking up in the morning. And now that most of my meetings were at 9, that was a really hard challenge for me to overcome. And in the end, I overcame it. One of the key takeaways that I had was that it's never too late to change what you want to do in life. My major is information technology, and information technology can go a lot of ways in the IT field. And because of this internship, I am now looking in a more of a cybersecurity direction instead of a technician and OCTO's help direction.
One of the challenges that I had to face when it came to dealing with some of the projects we were talking about was that there were different conclusions I was coming to based on different topics that we were addressing. One of the examples could be that when we were doing our project on spreading the network through a building, I had come up with the main data frame, but I had also come up with the IDF, which is a different data frame, the secondary data closet. And there were so many different ways I could have addressed spreading connectivity through the building. That was what it meant to have a different conclusion. I could have come to various different conclusions. But a takeaway from that example is that sometimes when you're looking for a specific topic, you have to gravitate to this other topic, a similar topic. An example could be when you're looking for main brand fish sticks and they're nowhere to be found or they're hard to acquire because they've been bought in bulk by many other people. You sometimes just have to go for the great value fish sticks. They may not be the same thing, but they are similar.
The biggest challenge I faced was entering a new technological field. While software quality assurance and application testing aren't extremely complex aspects of software development, it was still a new experience, and some of the techniques I was taught about were relatively difficult to understand at first. The major takeaways I got from interning at OCTO this summer were how important patience and meticulousness are, especially in technology. Much of software quality assurance is making sure everything in an application is executed as close to perfectly as possible. So paying close and thorough attention to detail is something I experienced, especially during my internship. During the internship, I hadn't realized how crucial patience and detail were in technology, but my perspective has definitely changed.
How did this internship influence me? Well, now I have a new career goal. I originally was focused on technicians and tech support, desk side support, but now I'm more open to cybersecurity. And I actually have a better understanding of my future goals. So if I were to do cybersecurity or if I were to do tech support, it is best to have a certification to give you that extra push. When you first think of certifications, you just think of it as, you know, as it's just like a label, it's just a certificate, but it can actually significantly increase your chances in a lot of things and a lot of different goals related to IT.
How did this internship and projects influence my future projects as well as myself? I'd have to say that this internship made me think a lot. It made me think about how I had to change the way I complete things. That ultimately, I cannot just simply search for what I'm looking for. That I sometimes have to attack the smaller subjects that are related to it to get a better understanding of the main idea.
This internship and the projects I completed helped provide me with an understanding on the projects that OCTO completes routinely. In addition, I've been given a new experience and a new skill that I can add to future applications and resumes. Learning about software quality assurance this summer has helped vary my skill set and given me new abilities that I can apply to future jobs.
That concludes our presentation on our internship with OCTO. Thank you for your time.